Welcome back into our Top Buffs Countdown. Tyler, we're getting down to the nit and gritty here, the top 12 guys on our countdown. We're going to start here at number 12 with Derek McCartney, somebody who through the first half of his redshirt freshman season last year was putting up some pretty good sack totals. Towards the end of the season kind of tailed off in terms of his numbers, but still a really productive season last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that a lot of people weren't even sure that we should have taken coming out of high school. So to me, he's had a pretty productive first couple of years on campus, obviously with redshirting and at the beginning of his career. But his first year on the field last year was pretty impressive. I mean, I think he's a guy that you would expect to continue to improve over the course of his time here and really make an impact. He has a chance to probably be our best pass rusher that we've had in almost a decade. So to me, he's a guy that I'm really excited to watch continue to develop. He's one of the guys on the team that really looks like he's a football player. Like now, he's got a big, wide body. He's a guy that, he's going to be one of the first people off the bus.
It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for him switching to this new three-man front. Derek McCartney's never been asked in the past to really lend a hand in pass coverage. He's going to have to do a little bit of that this season. To your point, though, this was a guy that received some criticism when he first verbally committed to Colorado. Got to give John Embry some credit here for taking Derek McCartney in one of his recruiting classes. It's kind of crazy, too. Again, kind of the benefit we talked a little bit about Alex Kelly of gray shirting, red shirting. We see that again with Derek McCartney. There's some guys that were in his signing class that are true seniors now. A guy like Kenneth Crawley that signed the same class as Derek McCartney. Now, Derek's got 3 years left on the field, so they're going to kind of reap the benefits of being patient with him. Somebody that personally faced a lot of tragedy in his personal life, lost his girlfriend, his grandmother within months. Somebody that, we talked about Philip Lindsay being a fan favorite, George Frazier being one of your guys. I think Derek McCartney's a guy that fans can really cheer for too because of some of the stuff he's overcome, and he's a really first-class individual off the field. At number 11 is Samson Cavallo. Tyler, I got to ask you, you had him a little bit lower on your list than I had him and the fans had him. How much of that had to do with the fact that you weren't 100% sure he would stay out of trouble this offseason?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that he's probably one of at the very least one of the top 10 talented guys on the team, probably even top 5. You just never really know if he's going to be able to stay on the field because he's had so many issues in the past. He's stayed clean so far this summer, which is awesome. I mean, from what we've heard from the linemen and from the coaches, he's really, 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 really good. So if he can stay on the field for us, that would be a huge piece, maybe get some better pass rush and just have a Pac-12 quality defensive line for the Buffs for the first time in a while.
I've seen some fans say, well, we lost Josh Tupou, but we get back Samson Cavallo. Not really a replacement there. Samson Cavallo is going to play the 3 technique or 5-eye, depending, what base defense or what defense they're in at that time. Whereas obviously just Josh Tupou is a block-eating nose tackle in there. So, but still, it is a huge thing to get him back into the program. Mike McIntyre kind of treated it almost back on signing day like Samson Cavallo was a prize recruit that they were signing at that time. And like you said, he's been able to stay out of trouble. We saw him out at the summer camps helping out. It seems like he's really doing everything he can to put himself in the good graces of the coaches, which is great to see. And you talk to some of the offensive linemen on this team, and they say there's no more talented player defensively on this roster than Samson Cavallo. He's kind of harnessed that aggression in the right way, at least so far. We'll kind of hold our breaths on that. At number 10 is Shea Fields. Caught a school freshman record 50 passes last year. He's gained a little bit of weight this year. He's not going to be confused for a big receiver, though, anytime during his time here in Boulder.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's a guy that I think had a much better freshman year than a lot of us were expecting coming in. Obviously, he was a highly rated kid, but, breaking records is not something you expect right off the bat, right? I mean, he had a very good year. I expect him to kind of improve on that, maybe be a little bit more of a downfield threat this year. Last year, he ran a lot of the same routes. He caught a lot of outs, which is good. And I think now that we have a little bit more depth around him, we have a few more guys that I think maybe we can rely on this year. He might get a little more space.
Yeah, and you talk with Troy Walters, and he says basically anything that's in the vicinity, Shea Fields is going to catch. Really, really good hands. He has been able to gain a little bit of weight. I think that'll help with his durability. He's a guy that could really free things up for Nelson Spruce this year. If he takes the next step and gets to a point where defenses can't just bracket Nelson Spruce, it's going to really help. Either way, if they bracket Nelson Spruce, Shea Fields is going to go off, and if Shea Fields is going off, maybe they can't bracket Nelson Spruce. So I think either way, those guys are going to complement each other as well. I can't think of the last time going into a season there's been a 1-2 combination at receiver that's been as good as this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, probably the most confident I've been in starting wide receivers since I've been a Colorado fan.
All right, well, when you see us again, we're going to be cracking the top 10.